We talk about diversity in our field and lots of dimensions of diversity, but I think the strength of this work is the diversity of the people in this room. If you look at the range of professions and practices and dimensions coming from state legislatures and higher ed to community activists to superintendents, teachers, parents, early childhood workers, I could go on and on. I especially want to recognize my colleagues from the foundation world here. This is really not a Kellogg event. This work will never be done by one foundation, and as I've tried to dismantle some of the specialized silos within my foundation, I've also had to reach out to my colleagues at other foundations who've been, as you know, laboring in this same vineyard for many, many years, sometimes longer than our foundation. So this work will only happen, and this movement that Dave Lawrence talked about last night will only happen if it's truly owned by all the participants of this movement. And to the small extent that the Spark Initiative started some part of that movement and is part of a larger movement, then that is something I think we should celebrate. I don't want to preach to the choir this morning. Some of my prepared remarks, I don't need to talk about 0 to 8 per se in terms of what we know and what we're doing. That will happen in other parts of this, and it happens in your daily lives. I do want to tell you a little bit about, as Greg was alluding, how the Kellogg Foundation came into this space at this time, and again, where we hope to go. When I came to the foundation 3 years ago, of course, the first question I was asked, both inside and out, is what was I going to do to change the foundation? And my response always was, I didn't come here to change the Kellogg Foundation. I came here to change the world. And I wasn't being silly. You know, coming from the Peninsula Community Foundation with a modest endowment of $100 million, many more millions in donor advised funds that worked in early childhood, but coming to a foundation that, when I was baited, it had $8 billion. It somehow switched to under $6 billion in the last few months, but we'll all deal with the constraints on our budgets as we need to. At the same time, even more important than that, we be clear about what our priorities and focuses are when budgets get tight. And as I was coached and helped prepared by colleagues for C-SPAN yesterday, the collapse of our financial system is no reason to say that health care reform or 0 to 8 reform has to take a back burner. And indeed, the concern for our future is all about a concern for our children. I also don't think we represent any special interest in this room. We have no special interest. We have one interest, and that's the future of our country and how our children are going to succeed and thrive because they're growing up in the United States of America. They come here, and we want them to know that membership in our society means that you will be nurtured, loved, and developed. Building a movement is key, but some movements are movements of insurgency. You know, they are trying to remove obstacles. They're trying to take back something that was taken away or dismantle something that's not working. I think for us it's different. When you get 85%, 85.44, he keeps correcting me, percent of the voters, you're not an insurgency anymore. You are changing the culture and commitment of your community. You're changing the priorities, and as he said, in perpetuity. That's what we need to accomplish, not just through a ballot initiative. It's huge in terms of the revenue, but we need to say that this is why the community exists, to raise its young children, to put them on a path to success.